Let's get it on!
Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ducross Brothers Sports Warriors pop-up. Oh, yeah. We're back, Sean. New platform. Everything's going according to plan. I know you guys are a little shocked, right? Been a year that we've been away from the game. Hopefully you guys are excited for us to be back. We've been gone for a year, like I said. I'm Tristan Ducross. This is my brother, Sean Ducross. God, it feels weird, doesn't it, a little bit?
Feels a little random. Definitely feels a little random. The show's going to be a little random. There's really no rhyme and reason to what we're doing tonight, except for we just wanted to come back, test out the new stuff, get the vibe back, kind of what we're going to be doing in the near future. So it was one of those things that it's like, let's give this a go and see where it goes from there. But, like, you have UFC 22 going on in Las Vegas.
UFC's going live right now, too.
Yeah, 22 is going on right now. The card wasn't that big of a draw to me that caught my attention. Again, it draws back to what we've discussed before of way too many fight cards. Way too many fight cards. And it just doesn't need to be that way. You don't need to have that many fight cards because you run into scenarios on this card. Really, the only draw is Bronson versus Holland. Okay, move on. Nothing to see here. So you go on and you look back at the past weekend and you look at UFC Vegas 21. That had a little bit better draw. Had a little bit more exciting fights. Had another controversial ending to the bout. Just like the previous one. It seems like UFC's hitting a hiccup. And then just before we go on live, the Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega
Fights
got
off.
canceled.
Yep.
And too many fights in this pandemic, and it's not concise. So when you run into that many issues, and you got to pump the brakes a little bit. You can't just throw all your eggs into the basket and hope for the best. That's not how this works. Not in a pandemic. Not in a time where not everybody gets a chance to train right now. Yes, everything's starting to slowly open and everything else like that. It still doesn't change the fact that we're still in a pandemic, folks. Things are still not opening correctly. So there's a lot of what-if scenarios. So this doesn't surprise me that you ran into a couple of issues with the cards. Most notably, I mean, Las Vegas 22 did take quite a hit because they lost the co-main event. They lost a women's fight yesterday because she passed out. I would say her name, but unfortunately, I don't know how to say it, and I'll butcher it.
That's a tough name.
But the fact that the UFC and the commission made this lady weigh in twice, knowing that she already fainted, was ridiculous in my book. I was talking on our Instagram, the Sports Warriors, about the scenario that the commission should have done a better job at what exactly is a good weight cut. We've talked about this before. I thought the whole thing was now in California, at least I know that much. They do a better job for the commission that they only allow you to cut a percentage of your weight, of what your walk around weight is, or that was the rule. I'm not so sure about everywhere else, but needless to say, it's one of those things that it apparently is not over wherever they're fighting.
Correct.
And it's like, when is a health of a fighter going to be the concern? When is enough? The girl was stretchered out, for crying out loud. Like, what in God's green earth is going on? If I'm the cornerman, I'm pissed. And you know the thing, too, is that I was talking on our Instagram page, is, again, I don't fault the commission entirely 100%, as I think this is a global blame. I blame the UFC for not stepping in and allowing and saying, hey, you know what? It's probably not best to weigh in again. Also, I blame it on the cornerman.
Yes.
I don't think the cornermen or the teammates take entirely too much blame for any group. I think a lot of the blame goes on cornermen, but yet cornermen don't take the full brunt of what goes on with their fighters.
I agree.
It's not just one way. It is multiple scenarios, multiple people play into a factor, and again, we've said this before, and we don't have accountability. And I don't think the mixed martial art world will ever have 100% accountability for holding certain individuals accountable for their own actions. There's got to be a certain punishment or establishment for what expectations are for a fighter, what the expectations are for a cornerman. You got to think about that if you're a cornerman, it's your job to have the best interest in a fighter. And if you don't have the best interest in a fighter, then what are you doing cornering them? Because we've seen it, we've heard of it, we've heard it all in our time. So I don't get why you can't hold individuals accountable.
You and I have both talked at length, at nauseum, about weight cutting issues. And it stems from wrestling days. And when you are seeing people that are struggling, if the weight cut is too much, you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
When is enough putting your body through the rigorous stress of a body for cutting weight and basically essentially doing it just to get the minimum advantage?
Yeah.
Because in reality, that's what it is, Sean. The weight cut is about getting an advantage inside that cage. You drop enough weight, and as you do so, you expect it to go your way. Now, if your body is not consistently atop where it should be, how do you perform at that level, Sean? You can no longer put your body through weight cuts just for an advantage and put your own health at risk.
You know, it's one of those things that I feel like we talk about this ad nauseum.
That's what I said? Yep.
It feels like we continue to talk about issues with weight cutting, and it seems like it's never going anywhere. It seems like it's never going to get established. It just seems like we've got more issues than answers at this point.
But other issues that you have in combat sports right now is, as everything is starting to open up, right, Sean? We now have a UFC event that will be sold out, that will be in a very, very prominent area to have thousands of fans.
Yeah.
Now we have another problem. Because we are still in a pandemic and everybody can have their own opinions on this, right?
Yeah.
But with this issue, we have weight issue. Now we have this issue of the pandemic. Is this a good thing to have a Jorge Masvidal Usman fight in front of thousands of people, possibly without masks? We still have a pandemic. We still have an issue with this, regardless of how anybody feels about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other thing.
We
announced that UFC 261 is going to Florida?
And if this
fully open? 15,000 fans in a pandemic.
WWE gets 25.
Yeah, at Raymond James Stadium.
Yes. So, look, we have two situations, okay? In the media, in the fans, how many of you guys are actually willing to go to a UFC event, go to a WWE event, while we still have a pandemic? Because something that is interesting to me is
Like,
that
who is comfortable?
right, who is comfortable doing this? You put me with a mask on, I might be. But I still feel indifferent that we still have this P thing going on. Flu, whatever you want to call it, I do not care. You have your own opinions, and trust me, everybody has one. It's getting rather annoying that you still want to say this is fake. Whatever. Say that to the 1,000 people that have died. I don't know if a spreader event like this happens, and if numbers come out and the protocols are not done and people get sick, whose fault? Who's pointing fingers?
Right?
That's my concern, is that these super spreader events, which I'm going to call them that, because you have 15,000 to 25,000 people in attendance, you might not get to the point where you are thinking that you're okay. You get complacent. If there's no social distancing in between, what happens then?
Yeah.
Who takes the blame?
Absolutely. But you know what? We've got an interesting show because we're going to dive into a lot of wrestling tonight. Because there's been a lot of interesting stuff that's been going on in wrestling. That if you've watched us prior to tonight, we've started to dabble a little bit more into wrestling. And it's been a unique thing. And with not a lot of mixed martial arts going on that we can get our hands on right now, or with our timely manner, because I'm out with a broken foot and all this other stuff like that. It's hard finding my sea legs right now. So watching wrestling, staying up on wrestling has been a little bit easier for me.
Yes.
But so we'll touch on that when we get back. We've got Impact Wrestling, AEW, NXT, you name it. We're going to talk about it in the next 45 minutes or so of the show. Probably break it down with each break. So first up will probably be AEW after the break. Then we'll go into another one, and followed with probably Impact because they do their crossover, and then the show would probably NXT. All right, so
It might be a little bit of a short show,
Yeah.
just because we are really just
kind of feeling it out right
yes, we are filling it out. We are getting back into the business of having a show. I mean, if you guys all are aware that, we have a lot of stuff, a lot of personal stuff that has taken in effect in the last year. But, hey, we're finally back. That's what matters.
Yep.
Going forward, there will be more of the Sports Warriors. Trust me, good sports talk, good combat sports talk right here. Something new, something fresh for you guys. Come on back. Join the Sports Warriors. Wednesday nights in the Warriors Den is where we will be at most of the time, unless something gets squirrely.
Probably around the same time that we're doing it
because
tonight.
this guy broke his foot.
But probably around the same time. Matter of fact, I think we'll continue to do it around this time, 7 o'clock, Wednesday nights. Get back in that groove.
But we are going to go to a quick break, come out, hit you with some wrestling talk, and go from there. Be right back after this. We are the Ducross Brothers Sports Warriors. I'm Tristan Ducross. Along my side, as always, my brother, Sean Ducross. We are a combat sports talk show Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want something new and fresh, you want to take on the wrestling world in WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, MLW Fusion, your boys will have it covered. We will also talk about combat sports from UFC, Bellator, bring on guests. We will flip this script. Come join us in the Warriors Den. Cross that line with us Wednesday nights. All right, everybody. We are the Ducross brothers. Tristan Ducross, Sean Ducross. Cross that line with us Wednesday nights right here in the Warriors Den. Good to be back on a pop-up show on a Saturday night.
Random.
All day. You cannot predict what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, and how we're going to do it.
Until, bam.
Oh.
Hi, guys.
Shout out to Yvonne Foley, who has a fight coming up this weekend. So, kill it. That's all I got to say. Kill it. Been out 18 months going strong. And
Tristan,
now,
don't forget our sponsors.
oh, yeah. I Love Auntie still hanging tough with us. Best CBD in the game. You want some? Go to the iloveauntie.com. Hit them with the promo code DuCrossBros. Save 10% off all your CBD needs. I get the textures, the oils. My brother gets the CBD rub because right now he needs it because he has a busted up foot. If you want to know the story, go ahead, ask him. He'll tell you that he fell down a flight of stairs.
Yep. You just make that seem so bad.
Dude, you tripped down the stairs from a cat.
No. Well,
Yes.
Yes, we'll go with the cat.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that's not entirely the
Yes.
true story. But we'll go with it because it makes it sound better.
Try to
My
avoid
wife
it.
knows the actual true story.
Try to avoid the cat and tripped and fell.
Didn't try to avoid the cat. I went down the left side, avoided the cat, just completely missed the stair.
I still don't understand how you just missed a random stair.
2 a.m., no light on. I was a baboon. What can you say? I
Jesus.
slipped and went.
Right? But we got AEW. They had their huge pay-per-view that went up with a dud. Revolution.
And then they followed it with
A kind of funny explanation.
funny explanation on Dynamite with questionable ending to even Dynamite. So you had the barbed wire death match, and if you know Japan or anything else like that, barbed wire death match is exactly that. I mean, exploding barbed wire, like, you get messed up pretty heavily. This time it was good to see that AEW used actual barbed wire. So I guess they listened to the critics from the first one. I didn't know you can use really fake barbed wire, but clearly you could tell the difference between the first ever barbed wire match that both Omega and Moxley had.
Yeah.
Versus this one, as they were literally getting stuck inside the barbed wire, which was a little disturbing. The fact that basically at the end of the bout, you saw the explosion, if you will.
The sparklers?
Yes, and freaking Kingston sold it like he was dead.
I told you, the minute I saw that boy deserves an Oscar.
Right. Because he
Best
sold
acted in the entire wrestling business went to Eddie Kingston.
But it just made him look so bad. And then for him to come out on Dynamite the next night to discuss about the incident, if you will, with Moxley and coming up with the joke that it was an Acme type explosion I thought was a brilliant way to do it. I thought the promo from Callis and Omega was a little bit rough around the edges, trying to sell it after Moxley and Kingston came up with what I thought was a solid promo, followed by a silly promo. Kind of, again, faltered everything.
I don't think they needed to have Kenny Omega come out and cut a promo on it. It was useless to have Kenny Omega come out and cut a promo too after Kingston and Moxley cut a promo. I thought I could have done without that.
And I thought that they did a better job with bringing out Sting in his return than I thought they did with Christian. Here's an interesting comparison. When Christian came out, because Christian had debuted on Revolution, Christian's debut on AEW Dynamite felt like Bret Hart debuting on WCW Nitro after he left WWE. It felt underwhelming. It felt that there was no clear-cut direction that he was randomly put in.
I'm still trying to figure out his whole saying of outwork everyone. When I think of outwork everyone, dude, this guy hasn't wrestled in years. So explain to me how you can outwork everyone.
Because,
I get his mind. He's one of the best minds in the business. We've heard it.
Yes, that's their selling
He
point.
can wrestle with the best of them. I get it.
But it's just like the same
But
thing.
outwork
is that,
everyone?
But that's the same thing that WWE is doing with Edge. Oh, he hasn't wrestled in 11 years. Wait, what? The guy just wrestled last year against Randy Orton he also wrestled in the Royal Rumble. And then he wrestled in the Royal Rumble this year. So how can they keep uttering those words and act as if the mindset of the wrestling fan has seemingly forgotten that those two, one has wrestled and the other one has not? It doesn't make any sense how, if it's not like the UFC trying to pull a wool over everybody's eyes, it's wrestling. Wrestling continues to try to make storylines seem as if they're non-existent.
We're in 2021.
Fans are not dumb. Fans are
not dumb anymore. They watch combat sports, right? And MMA.
Fans are not dumb.
Right? But Sean, they watch MMA. They watch combat sports.
Mm-hmm.
The realism is there, and I think the fans of professional wrestling want a little bit more realism.
Yeah.
And it's very, very, very possible to adapt that into professional wrestling and still be careful. When you look at professional wrestling, at some point you have to evolve with the times.
And if
If everybody is looking at the WWE and comparing it to UFC, right?
Yeah.
You should be able to add a little bit of realism into it. All these guys are grown men, grown women, right?
And that's the thing. Is like,
Can you take a punch?
and that's the issue I have with AEW. They've got all these independent wrestlers that if you've watched a lot of their bouts online, a lot of them are the strong style from Japan. They legitimately are not afraid to take a punch or hit each other. But yet on AE Dynamite, sometimes their punches are held back. They don't land them as crisp. You end up with that situation with like that Japanese girl from Japan, that Iota or whatever, on the AEW girls title that holds the title. What's her name?
Cheetah?
Yeah. So, and freaking gently went on the top of the head with the mic. It's like, oh my God, that's so badly fake. Like, what are we doing? You're on national TV and you...
And then you see the bloodbath between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker.
Right. There's no gray area.
No.
They're either really soft or really aggressive.
There's no in the middle.
And
I think that if we are able in professional wrestling to get in the middle between what is real and what is professional wrestling, I think the product would be better on TV when you're watching it. And I also think that bringing a little bit more realism in terms of storytelling or characters, stuff like that to build them, it's cool. You bring in social media. That is absolutely fantastic because bringing in social media, that's a huge portion of what is going on in this world.
And that's where I'm hoping the big shows, the Stings, the Christians.
Why are they not getting their brains picked a little bit more? I feel like that.
But it's the same way when you've got Arn Anderson there. You've got Tully Blanchard
That's
there.
what I'm saying.
You've got Dustin Rhodes
And we're not
there.
using their minds because I think you could do a little bit new school and a little bit of old school and blend them.
And use a little bit more psychology in the ring rather than going, okay, I could do this flip, I could do this move, I could look sick doing this. Ooh, I look like a superhero doing this.
But there's times and places for everything.
Yeah. Like, the only one that consistently can fly that I'm like, dude, I'm legitly okay with it, is Rey Fenix.
100% agree with that.
He is legitimately probably the only guy that I can watch a wrestling match with
From
go,
beginning to end and
go,
enjoy
you know
what he's doing.
And go, you know what? I'm okay with you flipping and flying and launching yourself like you're the next greatest superhero. I'm okay with that. But when you get guys like FTR, when you get guys like MJF, when you get other guys like that you know they're technicians, and you try to make them not technicians and start adding the flippity flips and the whoopity whoops, is when I have an issue.
Flippity flips and whoopity whoops.
That's when I have an issue. That's when there needs to be some type of consistency. You can't come over and say, you know what, let's go ahead and go this route. No.
I agree.
Guidance, structure. And AEW is the sky's the limit. They're entertaining right now because they're bringing in the indie fan. They're bringing in that audience, the 18 to 30s. The ones that don't want the WWE product.
That want something different.
That's the reason why AEW is still hanging around and still doing legitimately pretty good.
Dude,
They've
Impact
gotta-
is still hanging around.
right? But we'll get to that here in a little bit, right after the break.
All right, we're the Duke Cross Brothers in the Warriors Den. Stay tuned with us. We'll be right back after this break.
We are the Duke Cross Brothers. We are the Sports Warriors. We are here typically every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you check us out on Facebook, the Duke Cross Bros, or on Twitter at the Duke Cross Bros. Make sure that you follow us and subscribe to us on our YouTube page, the Sports Warriors. Stay up to date when we pop up or when we do our show on Wednesdays. Tristan loved my voice on that one.
Tristan Ducross.
I sounded like an amazing commercial man. Let me do a voiceover.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Please don't do it. But we are the Duke Cross Brothers, the Sports Warriors. Thank you for everybody tuning into us live right now. Appreciate the love. Thank you for enjoying the time with the Duke Cross Brothers as we come back, as we kind of get our sea legs underneath us. Get ready to kind of get this thing back going and give you guys one of the best shows that are out there and being a different breed than everything else.
One of the realest talk shows out there right now. You either love us for our commentary on how we talk and how we bring you a different side, a different spin, or unfortunately, then you get
100% transparency is what you get from the brothers. Regardless of where you are and what you do in this world, whatever it is, sorry, we're going to have a hot take on it. It's just the reality of
I've
it.
always
If
said,
you're sensitive, this won't be your show.
It's funny because I've always said since we've done our show is that we're not a fluff show.
No, we are not.
We
have our friends, we have our buddies inside this industry, and I respect every single one of them. So make note of that.
And you know what? We'll talk about that at the end of the show. So, anyways, if you're new to us,
Combat Sports Talk Show, UFC, Bellator, boxing, you name it, we got you covered. Even professional wrestling. We're going to start doing a little bit more with AEW, which is kind of cool. So,
if you haven't seen our page,
right? We're getting some AEW stuff going. That's kind of cool. Conference call with Cody Rhodes like a couple weeks ago before AE Revolution. That was cool.
The Shaq clips with Cody Rhodes.
Right.
Shaq. Dude, that Shaq fight,
he actually did pretty good.
Shaq, that debut was not that bad. It's been a lot better than that Bad Bunny BS over there on that other show. But you know what? I was going to go Impact, but I'm just going to go to WWE. So you've got Double J Jeff Jarrett, right? The king of the guitar swing. You had Bad Bunny take a guitar shot to the back that looked like that was the most soft guitar shot I've ever seen from The Miz.
Miz looked like he was scared to swing that.
Again, it was just like...
Dude, it looked like Miz was scared to lay it into him.
Right? And then Bad Bunny, though, sold that like he was dead too.
Yes.
I give more props for Bad Bunny for selling a baby shot, but this whole thing of not having the ability to slap the leg, oh my God, the moves suck.
It's funny because there's
The
a TikTok
Claymore
video.
looks bad.
There's a TikTok video
Yeah.
of
Dakota Kai.
a super kick. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
maybe?
off the top rope.
Yes.
Dakota,
And
yeah,
the guy
yeah.
goes to the guy goes like, damn, there's something missing. And then he plays it back and he goes, there you go. That's better. I cannot. It's astonishing that not many people are picking up on that because I'm watching WWE wrestling and I'm just like,
Or look
What?
or look at
Trying
the
to figure out
video-
what I'm missing.
Or the video that I showed you, the haluva kick from Sami Zayn. You can see in the video
Sami Zayn wants to slap his
his leg. And then instead he just creams the dome of freaking
Kevin Owens, I am sorry, but this is going to hurt more than it's going to hurt me.
And you know what? It's all because Vince McMahon said I can't slap my leg. So I'm just going to lay it in and hope you're okay at the end of the day. So please, whatever you do, turn your head as much as you can. So when I cream
But this is going to hit you hard.
right. Like, my goodness.
Damn near took his head off.
I even showed my wife Fallon the kick, and she went, ooh. Because legitimately, he got his head kicked in.
I don't understand this. And AEW then holds up a shirt. And I took the screen scan and sent it to you. Matter
No
of fact, do
slap
I
leg.
still have it?
No slap leg, no slaps on the leg or whatever it is.
Yes.
Like, what?
Do I still have it? I wanted to see if I still have it because I'll pull it up and show the people what I'm talking about.
Like see, at least with AEW, you don't know a lot of the direction of where they're going with their storylines. But man, the writing is on the wall with every storyline WWE
Facts.
does. You know every clear-cut direction they're going to go. Like, we called it out a while ago that it's like, oh, we know what the main event of WrestleMania is going to be, or the co-main event, if you will. That was going to be Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. That was always labeled. And they're going to make Bobby Lashley a transitional champion after he beat a transitional champion in The Miz. The Miz should be a champion. The Miz can out-talk 80% of
Can
that.
we see that?
I don't know.
Hold on. I'm going to get up real quick. Live show.
Okay. Little fuzzy. Stop moving. You may want to back out a little bit. There it is. It's starting to clear up.
Look at that.
So, credit goes to AEW on that one. Oh my goodness! But their subtle jabs at WWE's always been funny. And then the Young Bucks just yank that shirt and throw it away. That's pretty funny. Pretty funny.
To the people that's tuning us over on Twitch, thank you guys. Give us a like, follow on Twitch too. On Twitch, the Ducross brothers were over there as well. So yeah, we're just trying some new things. So the people that are watching us on Facebook right now on my page, on YouTube, on Twitch, appreciate the love. Share us out, show us some love. If not, we'll catch you on the flip side. But
Get you on down the road.
right. Share us, hit the heart icon, love us, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and then it's like, so you've got all that going on, and it's like, what Triple H is doing at NXT.
Dude, did you know that he's gone because of COVID?
No.
Yeah, he hasn't been at the. They had a somewhat of a outbreak in NXT, and he is gone. Has missed the last 2 weeks of taping due to COVID.
Okay, so you got his best bud, Shawn Michaels, running the ship down there.
Right?
Like, they don't miss a beat.
No, they don't.
And having William Regal there is just such a staple.
Him as an authority figure, I love it.
Right? He just fits. And he's really owned that. And they've really let him do his job to the best of his ability. And it's really interesting. And what's interesting is that NXT Stand and Deliver, I'm going to put it out there, is going to be better than freaking WrestleMania. Want to know why? Because let me tell you tell me if this is not interesting to you. Okay? Finn Balor
Karrion Kross.
versus Karrion Kross. Adam Cole
Kyle O'Reilly.
versus Kyle O'Reilly. Io Shirai versus what's the big girl's name?
Raquel.
Yeah, Raquel Gonzalez. That three alone is price of admission,
What I like too is takeovers 2 nights.
just like WrestleMania.
So you can literally put split that card up and make it strong all the way around.
Right. And
But
then,
what
then you've got
NXT is doing, Sean, is that they're a great wrestling product. Like I was talking to our pop about it, because he still thinks it's a WWE product, which it is, right?
It is.
But he doesn't quite understand why they're still trying to go after AEW if AEW keeps beating them in the ratings, and doesn't understand why they're not up where like SmackDown and Raw is. Well, the issue that I have with NXT is that why am I going to invest my time in NXT or invest my time in characters if in 2 months from now they're not going to be there?
and they're going to get moved up. I completely agree with that. Also, my thinking is that I have a hard time watching NXT because it's too dark.
It is the brainchild of Triple H, who is a metalhead.
I get that.
So that's the vibe that you get with NXT.
But to me, like there was discussion of it, I think late last year when they were going to brighten up NXT,
A little bit on USA?
and they never did.
No.
And I think if they would brighten it up, NXT would easily be the number 2 brand. I at some point, if you're going to run the same garbage out there for Raw, then at some point,
That's harsh. Garbage?
it's
It's not great, but it's not garbage.
it's trash. It is trash. Like you got SmackDown who's consistently hitting a stride, and their people know how to talk and carry and stuff like that. There's not a lot of that on Raw at all. There's not a lot of continuity of that. There's a lot of struggle of, okay, you say this, you do that. You know, it's like when you watch AEW and they run to a spot here, or they run to a spot here. That's what Raw does, but in a different style. They run to a spot of, okay, I've got to hit this bullet point. I got to hit this bullet point.
Where the reins are a little bit looser on SmackDown.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that.
So you've got different things, and when you look at SmackDown, there's a lot of freedom.
That's because it's also on Fox, and you're getting paid money to be on prime time.
So at some point, abandon ship of Raw being the flagship.
Right? Turn to
SmackDown is
SmackDown.
clearly the 1A and not the 1B anymore.
I agree with that.
NXT, to me, is clearly what SmackDown is. So SmackDown is what Raw should be. Then you've got your NXT is what SmackDown is, and Raw is what NXT used to be.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
You bring up all these guys from NXT and let them go by the wayside. Why?
See,
because
that's
you don't know what.
Shauna,
to do
that's
with
what
them.
I'm afraid of with Rhea Ripley debuting on Monday Night Raw.
Horrible. Should be better off going over to
You
SmackDown.
ruined Keith Lee,
Yes.
who's at the Performance Center now.
To do better. Okay.
Yes, because that makes sense. You know, Keith Lee needs work. Okay.
He didn't need work in NXT. He'll
Nope.
need to work in the WWE. Like, okay. Because that makes sense.
But now you're going to bring Rhea Ripley to the main roster, and I cringe. I'm waiting for the time she debuts, and it's just going to go bad.
Yeah. And we're going to have another deja vu all over again.
It's weird.
The whole thing is weird. The whole thing is awkward for the WWE product. And then trying to figure out what the end result is for Impact is probably as confusing. What are we? Are we the love child of AEW? Are we Impact Wrestling? Again, they're starting to lose their identity. Are we taking an AEW flagship and bringing over New Japan? Because now we got New Japan tag team
I'm okay with the Forbidden Door, but it's like to me it is now lost because I still don't know the connection or the ties between AEW and Impact Wrestling. Except Kenny Omega early on in a promo said that he was the belt collector.
So now we already got that.
So now we already know
he's going to win.
he's
the belt
going to
from
win.
Swan.
He's going to win the title from Rich Swann.
Yep. So
We
gonna have
know
the
that he's going to
AEW
go against the Great Muta.
Yep. From the Noah Wrestling.
So we know he's going to claim the Noah Championship. So now where is the suspense?
It's already written. It's already there that if you're following the dominoes, it's already there. So
Because
so
you're not having Rich Swann beat Kenny Omega. You're not.
no, like maybe if Moose won over Rich Swann,
Then maybe you could believe that Moose has a fighting chance against Kenny Omega.
but the fact that you put Rich Swann over Moose,
I don't understand the burial of Moose every time. The guy can talk. He looks great. His entrance is great. He's amazing in the ring. He's a former football player. What the hell do you want more from him?
right? The torch
In the-
gets passed from EC3 to
Moose? And they bury him? Hey, Moose, you're going to get a world title shot. We're going to put your TNA World Heavyweight title also on the line, and you're going to lose to Rich Swann.
What? Say that again? And then you've got Violent by Design, a.k.a. Sanity. I guess what everybody's saying on the dirt sheets is Violent by Design is what Sanity should have been.
Yes, that's what I told you.
But yet it's awkward when you've got Doring, who's about 50, Rhino, who's about 50. Eric Young is probably about that range too, but Eric Young is, well, Eric Young. Why couldn't you pair Eric Young with some,
New talent
right?
and build them up.
What is that, Dieter?
Yes.
Dieter's young. That makes sense.
They try to get his brother, but Jake something won't join him.
Yeah, because something.
Literally went last name with something.
Right? Jake
You couldn't come
and
up-
changed his social media handle to something.
You couldn't literally come up with anything better than Jake something.
And then you've got Callahan. Callahan seems like they're just regurgitating the same stuff over and over for him. That is the same thing. It's like, dude, we just saw that 2 months ago. Why are we going back?
Every story is the same with Sammy.
They have literally nothing for Sammy Callahan and Eddie Edwards.
Eddie Edwards, former world champion, and he's just a Tommy Dreamer knockoff.
What it's turning into. Why?
So progression is to move forward,
Not backwards.
right?
Progression is
I talked to one of the guys at 5 Round MMA, Sean,
Okay.
about this. Impact Wrestling, I still have it in the back of my head that Impact Wrestling has been bought
And that's the only thing
by
that I can-
AEW.
and yet somehow it is quiet.
Super quiet. And I'm okay. If that's the case, I'm okay with that.
But that's the
But
only
we have to have some story, some dialogue, some continuity within something to bring it forward.
even if it's AEW not entirely Tony Khan buying entirely into
And can we stop to pay ads? This ain't NWO. I'm over it.
right. But hold on. So if Tony Khan bought Impact Wrestling,
Yes.
I would hope that it's not entirely bought and that Anthem still owns them, and that's maybe why it's been low key. But still,
Okay, so they're a partner in Impact.
right? And then that would explain a little certain things, but we've got to get there. We've got to get there. And these paid ads, like you said, with Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone, I like Tony Schiavone, but
We need to take Tony Khan off the screen.
we do not need to see paid ads every single Tuesday on Impact about taking a shot at Impact Wrestling. It was funny the first 2 times. It was funny the first 5 times.
Right. Not funny for the 152nd time.
Right.
And now you got Moxley saying that the bomb was bought by Impact. Another shot. We don't need shots at every promotion.
Especially with the fact that you're working with the other promotion.
Right.
Why are you bearing the other promotion that you're in bed with?
And if you are working with other promotions, why are we still seeing the same wrestlers?
Right.
Kenny Omega, cool. The Good Brothers, okay. Rinse and repeat.
I still don't like the Good Brothers.
You never liked the Good Brothers.
Like, I don't know what people thought.
I still look at Gallows and think of Festus. That's what I think.
But see,
Ring the bell, then he goes psycho. Other than that, Festus.
But see, the thing though that I have with the Good Brothers is they're trying to be funny.
They're corny.
Yes, and that's what they were in the WWE. Why
are you still
you're
playing that
suppo-
shtick when you didn't like it in the WWE and you're doing it in Impact?
Right?
Cool. You're the
Bierski.
the Brewskis.
The Bierski.
Whatever. It's
With the hat that says Bierski too.
It's dumb. It's not funny. We're now in the 2021. You're grown adults, and you don't need second grade material.
Right. So it's like you're trying to bring this OG Bullet Club back. You're trying to act all tough and stuff like that. But then when you do silly stuff, like what? Huh?
Again, if you're doing silly stuff in one and then aggressive stuff in another, it doesn't jive with me.
No.
Because
you
you're
look
corny
fake.
in Impact, but yet you're this OG Bullet Club in AEW, and you're out there attacking people, hitting the Magic Killer, but
Putting
you come
a chair,
off like you...
putting a chair on Kingston's leg and then stomping it, and then threatening to do the same thing to Moxley around the neck, and then you go over to Impact and you're like,
Who are we? What are we? What are we doing over here? And you lose to Finn Juice from New Japan?
that was team.
Surprising.
That was a tag team that was meshed together randomly in a tournament about a year ago.
I don't get it. Whoever's writing this stuff needs to look how to write TV episodes from point A to point B, Sean.
Yes, we can write better material.
Who, what, when, and why.
Right? Beginning, middle, and end. But speaking of beginning, middle, and end, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. So we'll be back on Wednesday,
Yep.
7 p.m.,
Uh-huh. For show.
and then we'll talk to you guys then.
Yes. But we are the New Cross Brothers. I'm Tristan New Cross. This is my brother, Sean New Cross. Hope you guys enjoyed the little pop-up show. Getting our sea legs underneath us. But we'll be back. Believe that.
Let's get it on! Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.